Hi, I'm Ashley, and I love the 49ers.
And I'm Nicole, and I love the Chargers.
And we are touchdowns,
And tight ends.
and we are not experts.
We're not experts, but we are passionate.
Are we, though? Because we haven't gone live since week 5.
Okay, it didn't say we're consistent. It said we're passionate.
That's fair. I don't know how passionate I was once we got to mid-season, though, with my team this year. It's been a hot minute since I've been on the losing end, and I forget how much football's not fun when you're not winning.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. But what are you drinking tonight, Ash?
Water.
Cheers!
So I got this Stanley, right? And it's red and orange.
So cute.
Like red and orange, and I didn't think much of it because I'm like, oh, it's red. We sell them at Zoomies. I'm gonna buy it, right? And when Ray came down the other week, I had that one and my 49ers one because I do have a 49ers one that one of my employees got me for Christmas. And he goes, "The fuck are you using a Chiefs?" And my head never associated my Stanley with the Chiefs because it's red and orange, not red and yellow. And now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, do people think I like the Chiefs? Because I don't.
I was actually, at first, obviously, I think 49ers, but then I was like, wait a minute, why is there orange on there? Are we rooting for a certain team this Super Bowl? We got to have a conversation.
No. Well, it's been a minute, so maybe we should tell people why we sucked so much this last season.
I don't, it's weird because we talk about the games every week, right? We talk all the time. So it's not that we didn't have the time to talk. We just, I don't know what it was.
Why not for me? It's the hardest thing for me is still my work travel. Yeah. So I typically fly out on Tuesdays. So when we would be going live, I'm landing at an airport. So my commitment is to do better job because I schedule my own travel. I'm scheduling my travel to support our ability to be consistent.
I think as long as, even if you're in a hotel, but the thing is with you is there's so many last minute things. Like you don't know if you're going to do dinner or if you have to meet your team. Yeah.
I have more say in. The only time I don't have say in stuff like that is if I'm at meetings. Like if I'm at meetings that I'm not hosting, that I'm participating in, I don't have a say on dinner or not. But when I'm going to Vegas for work, I have a say.
Yeah.
And actually this week this year I was for the first few travel weeks, I'm doing Wednesday through Friday instead of Tuesday through Thursday.
Oh, nice.
Just because I want to it's nice for me to work Fridays at home. But also when I get home late Thursday nights, that work day on Friday feels like it should be a day off because I'm so tired from working all week. So I'm like, well, what if I just go home on Fridays and actually had the next day off?
Yeah.
And or you guys just meet me out in Las Vegas finally.
That's an idea too. Finally do some of this stuff together.
Yeah, it's funny because last year I was at Vegas the same time, the week after the Super Bowl.
That's right. I know. Yeah. The whole plan was to go to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah. And we could save that for later, but we should revisit the Super Bowl and ticket prices.
For Levi?
No. Well, we could revisit a whole lot of
ticket
prices. So, but our commitment, guys, our thoughts, what we're trying to commit to in the off season, every other week.
Yep.
Every other Tuesday.
Think we can do that.
We can do that. And if one of us can't, we'll have some special guests.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that's super exciting is we're trying to incorporate some different things, have more people on, been kind of going down the road of getting some old players to maybe come on, some wives of players, things like that. So we are definitely exploring and trying to grow a little bit and have more people with some exciting things to say join us.
Yeah. So look forward to Touchdowns and Tight Ends 2025. We're finally getting our shit together.
Well, before we get into Touchdowns and Tight Ends for 2025, do we want to talk about the season for 2024? Was not your favorite season, I know that.
Do we want to start with the not fun team or the more fun team.
Let's start with what our predictions were for the season and where we ended up, because I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay. So since we've started touchdowns and tight ends, my predictions have been pretty damn close. Like I went back and looked, like every season, my games maybe were off,
Right.
but my total overall predictions have been within 1 to 2 games. This is the worst I have done with predictions since we started touchdowns and tight ends. And actually it was a learning lesson, because if I would have just like hindsighted on how the 49ers have performed the year after Super Bowls previously, my predictions probably would have been completely different. So based off of, we had a solid few years. I think it was 21, 22, 23, 21, 22, and 23 seasons. 3 years of us having really good seasons, right? So I predicted that we were going to be 12-5 for 2024.
And where'd you guys end up?
6-11.
Oof. Well, I think that's pretty spot on to what mine was last year. We ended up 5-12 last year, not 2024, 2023.
Yeah.
But I think my prediction was about the same. It was 12 or 11. So,
well, we always want to think our teams are going to.
I mean, shit, I'd predict my team to be undefeated every year if I could.
Well, you want to every year. And then I'm like, Nicole.
Totally. That's not going to happen. I mean, I'm smarter than that. So yeah, it was definitely a rougher season for you guys. I was thinking to myself, I was like, maybe you guys did poorly because I didn't go to any of your games this year.
I only went to one.
That's wild. The last 2 years have been.
I went to more Chargers games this year than I did. I went to 1 Niners game, and I think I went to 3 Chargers games this year.
I went to more Chargers games than I did.
Yeah. And for the last 2 years, I've gone to a 49ers playoff game for my birthday weekend since my divorce, and this is the first year I haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, the only playoff game we could have went to was mine, and I'm happy I didn't go.
So am I, because the last time you went to a Chargers playoff game, it wasn't fun either.
No, that was awful. So, my prediction for last year was 10-7. I wasn't too sure how we were going to do. I was really excited about Harbaugh, and I was excited about the team, but getting rid of, not all of our key players, but a lot of them, we had Eckler, Williams, and Allen all leave. So it was kind of like, well, we don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to vibe with Harbaugh. I knew he would do a good job. I did not think we would end the season 11-6. I am super stoked that we did. But we did make it to playoffs, which was awesome.
Win. That's a win.
That's a win. The win. His first season, I mean, coming off of being a 5-12 team to 11-6 and going to the playoffs, I mean, that's pretty awesome. But we lost to the Texans, you guys. Like, that was one that I thought for sure we would win.
It's so hard because for that game, like once the Niners were eliminated, I became like a honorary Chargers fan, right? But that game was hard for me because I'm actually a fan of the Texans because of DeMeco Ryans. And so I was like, I wasn't surprised that we say the Texans, but the Texans also made it to the playoffs.
They did. And I like CJ Stroud. I do like the Texans as well. There's a lot of other teams that I would have been really, really upset about had we lost to. The Texans, good for them. We played poorly. It did remind me of when we went to the playoffs with Justin Herbert back in 2023. That was the Jacksonville game. That was just awful. But I feel like he not crumbles under pressure, but he's not the same player.
I was going to say, it sounds like he just can't perform in the postseason. Like there's just something about the playoffs. Maybe it's like the pressure or.
However, how do you get to be 26-0 and lose that game?
The Niners have done it a few times. I mean, how are we up going into the fourth of the last 2 Super Bowls and we lose both of them?
I know. What do you think happened to you guys this year?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things. We had some I think it started in the off season or the preseason. All the contract talk, like, do you remember like all that drama with like Well, it's really with Brandon Ayuk. There wasn't as much drama with Trent Williams, but those two were waiting on deals. So I feel like that, like drama and tension, like there's no way that's not felt in the locker room. I understand players want to get paid. I believe players should get paid. I'm not in their position, so I can only make assumptions on what I would do. But I'm like, look, if I'm getting enough, and this is the team I want to play with because I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, well then shit, don't pay me as much because like I'm such a competitive athlete. I'm like, I just want to win the biggest win I can have. Like I want to get paid, but like I want to win a Super Bowl. So like you could just pay me a few dollars less. That's fine. I'll stay here, whatever. So I think that happened. There was a lot of injuries throughout the season. Like we lost every starting running back. McCaffrey was basically out all season. A matter of fact, part of me is like, is he done like in his career? Like, is it time to retire? I don't know. Running backs, we got real thin on. It's like by the end of the season, I didn't even know who was playing on the team anymore because we were on like our 5th and 6th. I was like, I don't know who that is, but they're not doing bad. All right. Ricky Pearsall did pretty well. And then there was just a lot of weird things, I think, that happened to players like in their personal lives that impacted the team. 2 players lost children this year.
That was in the same, wasn't it all like there was a bunch of stuff that happened in the same week?
It was like within like the same 4 weeks. It felt like maybe it was a few weeks, but it was like right around like, was it like November, December? Like it was like towards the end. Maybe it was October, November.
Yeah.
But there was that. Ricky Pearsall got shot before the season, right before the season started. Like there was just so many random things. But not just that. So I think I shared with you. Did you know like in the last, I think it was like 22 years, the 49ers either make it to the NFC Championship game or they miss the playoffs completely?
Yes.
That's it. That team is all or nothing. And so I was looking back at it and I'm like, all right, so I think Super Bowl hangover is real. We see it, right? You come in, you want to win. I mean, unless you're the Chiefs haven't lost it. So never mind.
Yeah, they did.
Well, not recently.
They lost to Tampa Bay in 2020.
Oh, shoot. That's right. The 1 year Tom Brady played.
Yep.
So Super Bowl hangover. So I was looking at it and, the last time we played in the Super Bowl, besides the last time was in 2020. So the 2019 season, you know what our 2020 record was?
What?
6-11.
Wow.
And you know what our 2021 record was? 10-7. Went to the NFC Championship game. We lost to the Rams, but we made it to the NFC Championship game in 21, 22, 23. That's amazing. I'm like, maybe this will be a better season for us. I just feel like there's just a lot of things working against us. We just can't figure out our defensive coordinator. I always think back to like as someone who's been in a leadership position for so long, and I know you have as well. If we have a team, but the leader over that team is constantly changing annually, it's really hard to build any type of continuity and trust.
You can't.
We're on our 3rd defensive coordinator in 3 years.
What position? So I know Staley was a coach for you guys. What was he coaching?
Something on the defense, I think.
Yeah, you guys getting Staley was
no shit
part of it.
He was just bad luck.
I know.
Like he just. I mean, maybe the Rams can take it.
Oh gosh, the Rams.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
But you guys had a good season. I mean, Harbaugh, that was exciting that Harbaugh came in and did that. I didn't read a ton into it, but I know he did similar things with the Niners when he took the Niners over.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember what your guys' record was when he came on, but it was the same sort of situation, right? So I'm very happy with him. I'm happy with Herbert overall, but every year there's something that's not clicking with him. And, I think losing a lot of our key players, our starter players, was probably a little stressful in the beginning, but Ladd McConkey, I mean, he crushed it.
He was a rookie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I just remember hearing his name a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was fire, and Dobbins was great, but he got hurt. So that really set us back. Gus Edwards got hurt. So we didn't have a running back for a while. I mean, Dicker is probably one of the greatest things to happen to the Chargers.
All right. Speaking about kickers, the amount of games we lost because of Jake Moody
Dude, there was a lot of weird kicking.
And actually, I don't want to say because of him because it's like so unfair because I know that the job is so hard, but we had a lot of opportunity on special teams. Sorry, that just made me think of it. Like, I don't know.
No, it's true. I mean, special teams is huge. It's key.
But Dicker was great for my fantasy team. So,
well, fantasy, Christian McCaffrey, man, that guy is blackballed. I'm never drafting him again.
I can't draft as many players for the 49ers as I do because they all got injured.
I was thinking about that too. And there was a point where I was looking at, I think it was your roster on the Yahoo, the one that we play. And I was like, God, man, like none of her players are playing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think last year was my third year playing fantasy.
Yes.
I'm getting a little better. I started to get better in our league in the back half when I was like actually starting to really pay. Cause like I was, not that I wasn't paying attention, but there's something about when you're actually watching all the games every week where maybe you weren't so connected to a player that you're just like, oh, I need to make these moves. That all started clicking for me towards the end when I decided to play the role of eliminator.
I know. So Ashley started the season just kind of sucking. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I think it was.
I think I lost the first 4 or 5 games.
You're like 0 or 5-0 or 0-5, 0-4. And then the last middle to end of the season, you just started kicking everyone's ass and knocking people down. It's like all these people that thought they were going to come in 3rd or 4th or whatever. And you're like, nope, you're not winning this week.
Oh yeah. They were hitting me for trades. And I'm like, no, just because I didn't make it to the playoffs does not mean I'm not going to try to fuck up your game right now.
Or that you're a girl. Yeah. We don't know anything about football. So yeah, we're going to treat you, this.
When CeeDee Lamb is performing, it's like, I'll give you these 2 crap players.
Yeah.
For CeeDee Lamb. And I'm like, no.
I just don't want to trade anybody anything.
Sometimes I don't either because I'm like, I just want to see how my team does. That like I drafted. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean I don't drop people or try. It's usually defenses and kickers, but I'm my defensive player.
The thing that's weird to me about trading, and this is maybe something we could talk about more next when we're talking about fantasy next year, but like, you're gaining something from trading me a player. I don't ever see the benefit for me.
Yeah.
Unless my quarterbacks got injured and I really need a quarterback and you're going to give me, okay, in that situation, I can see that, but that doesn't really happen that often.
Yeah. I'm going to try to do better this year. So in our league, I ended 10th.
Okay.
I didn't last.
Yeah, that's good. It's better than last. And then
in my other league, I ended 4th, dude. I got so close.
Yeah.
I definitely did better in that league, but there's only 8 of us in that league. So like our teams were pretty stacked.
Yeah. There was only 8 of you. You guys had great teams.
Yeah. And we have 12 in ours. And so how did we do on
Queen's Ransom? We lost first round of playoffs. I lost first rounds of playoffs in Yahoo too. I just got really unlucky towards the end of the season. It's like everyone I was playing was just whooping my ass. Like they wouldn't have beat anybody else. And, it was like the one week that I wouldn't have lost to anybody else except that person. So.
I think we'll do a better job this year.
I hope so.
But I may actually pay attention to the off season since we're actually going to talk during the off season.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. We'll actually know what's going on because we get a little quiet during the off season. So that's going to change.
And then all of a sudden it's preseason. I'm like, who plays for what team right now?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we got a couple people that joined to say hello. We got Nick here. Thanks for joining. Yeah. And then what's up, David?
Hi, David. Thanks for joining us.
Talking about your Niners. So, well, Chargers, Niners, we're done.
Well, before we get Super Bowl, though, like, I don't feel like anything crazy's happened with the Chargers since the season has ended. Am I wrong? Like, I don't feel like I've seen you guys make any headlines. But there have been some headlines for the Niners that I'm like, okay, notable. And then yesterday, 2 things happened that I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I don't know if you've been spending time on the IG or TikTok.
Not really.
Okay. So obviously I just talked about defensive coordinators being a challenge for us. As we know, the Jets let Robert Saleh go in the middle of the season. The joke was like we hoped he would come back. The reality is he's coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited because actually some of the players we have played with him. He was our defensive coordinator when we went to the Super Bowl. We had the number one defense in the NFL. Like he's like a defensive minded genius. So I am pretty excited. Although I also know it's his first season back. And again, we just talked about that idea of like new leadership, but I am excited to get him back.
So are there a lot of players that have already played with him though? So there will kind of already be that.
Well, there's some like the leaders have like Bosa, Warner, Greenlaw. If we keep him, he's a free agent.
Yep.
So there is like a handful of them. And I just think about like that, like leadership. Trent Williams, I think. Trent Williams might have came in after that. But I just think of like the captains or like the leaders who have. So as like if I was a newer player, I put trust in those players, and if we're putting that much trust in a coach. And do you remember? I don't know if you remember watching the games that he was the coach in. He was so damn fun to watch on the sideline.
He is he is fun to watch for sure.
Just pumped and amped, and I feel like we've been missing that since. Well, D'Amico Ryans was great too, but I feel like no defensive coordinator for us has felt like that since those two, but Saleh takes the cake.
Yeah.
So that was exciting
for you guys.
I mean, other good news is we have the easiest schedule because our season sucked and we have an 11th round draft pick.
There you go. What do you think you're going for in the draft?
I mean, we need help on our O-line. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of time, like Purdy didn't have time so many times. He was like scrambling out of the pocket. But if we don't re-sign Dre Greenlaw, and we have a couple linebackers that are free agents, I'm like maybe a linebacker. But again, like typical Ashley, I haven't paid attention to college enough to even know.
Every year I say I'm going to start watching college, but I can't. It's too much.
I did watch some college games this year. Like on Saturdays, like if I didn't have anything to do, I'd put it on. Yeah. And Ray watches college. So like if I was with Ray, like he would put college on. I don't follow it enough though. Like the only team I feel like I'm connected to is Colorado.
Right.
Like I know about Colorado, and Colorado's got what is his name? Deion Sanders' son. I'm going to mess up his first name, so I don't want to say it. And then I think it's Travis Hunter, whatever his name is, who's supposed to go first round, but those two might also avoid the draft.
Yeah.
So, and go be with Deion Sanders when he coaches, the Cowboys.
Ugh, the Cowboys.
They haven't signed a new head coach yet, have they?
I don't think so. No, the only new head coach I know of is Pete Carroll.
That's exciting news, though. But also, does that make you a little nervous, Nicole? Because
when you say exciting for who?
For Not Pete Carroll. It's exciting for Pete Carroll.
Exciting for the Raiders. I like Pete Carroll. I liked him as a USC coach. I liked him as a Seahawks coach. I think that he is a great coach. Not sure what happened with the Seahawks. That was kind of a whole rebuild as well after Russell Wilson left. But now there's talks of Wilson coming to the Raiders.
Well, they didn't keep him. They didn't. The Saints didn't, or the Steelers didn't keep him, right?
No.
Yeah.
So he did pretty good for the Steelers, much better than he did as a Bronco. I don't know what happened when he was a Bronco. I think that if you got Pete Carroll back together with Russell Wilson, they were a good team. And sometimes you just need a new environment.
And sometimes it's the coach. Like the player's good, but sometimes you don't know how to coach the player, or again, you don't work well. You think about people who are really good in leadership positions, but if they don't have the right team or the right support, they don't succeed.
Well, the last couple years that Russ and Pete Carroll were together, it wasn't great. So
that is true.
We don't know what's going on behind the scenes personally or whatever, but for the Raiders, I think that they should be excited about that. I think it kind of sucked that they let go of Antonio Pierce so quickly. It wasn't his fault necessarily.
But it's business.
Of course.
Dude, man, the NFL's cutthroat AF. Like when I see them cutting these head coaches like in the middle of the season, I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah. It's like as soon as they lose a game, like, boom, you're done. They get out of the locker room and it's like, oh, well,
But then they go and get other jobs. And I'm like, that's not like an ego hit. I didn't even know how I'd feel like, oh, I worked so hard, made it to this head coaching, got fired. I know it's money, man, but I'm like, and you know what? Maybe some people aren't made to be head coaches, but they were really good at their position coaching.
Yeah.
And that's where they should stay. And they tried it. It didn't work. And you're like, I'm comfortable here. So keep me here.
And that's okay. You know, you want to give it a shot. In that kind of position, I feel like you always want to see what you can do. And then if it doesn't work out, you go back. But yeah, it's a blow to your ego. I mean, to be hired as a head coach and then fired, and that sucks.
Yeah, it's stressful.
And Nick says that AP was fired before he made it to the parking lot. Yeah. I mean, there was so many situations like that this year where people were just let go. I can't remember. I think was it the Jets head coach or New England? It was someone, but they had just won a really important game and they still let the coach go that day.
I don't think it was the Jets. Aaron Rodgers was trying to blame it on the coaching. They let Saul go.
He's such an ass.
Dude, he needs to just retire and be done.
I'm pretty sure he is. I can't imagine he'd come back. I don't know. Him and Devontae Adams finally got their groove together, but it was
I know. But there was like rumors that Devontae Adams was like hinting that he wants to go back to Green Bay to end his career. Like he wants to end a Packer.
I thought you were going to say back to Raiders. I'm like, what? No,
back to Green Bay, where it all started.
Well, there's some interesting stuff happening. I just saw today Cooper Kupp.
Okay, that was on my list. I'm like, damn, the Rams are releasing Cooper Kupp. I mean, I know he was hurt, but I know they have Nakua, who has actually picked up a lot of what Kupp has done.
He was great, but Cooper Kupp, when he came back, he's great too. Like I just sometimes, again, it's money, right? And it's salary cap and this, that, and the other. But Cooper Kupp,
he's a running back, wide receiver.
I think I'm getting him and the other one confused.
In theory, is Cooper Kupp a wide receiver?
I think he's a wide receiver.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't it just be funny if he just came and played for the Niners and then
we'll take him.
Or I thought about that actually. I'm like, what if he wanted to stay in LA because he's already based in LA and there's 2 teams in LA?
I mean, all we've got is Ladd McConkey right now, really worth a damn as far as wide receivers. So
that's not bad. Okay. And then Myles Garrett requested a trade.
I saw that too.
And I was like, oh, come play for us.
You guys take him. We'll take Cooper Kupp. I'll take Allen back too.
Imagine Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett, defensive ends.
Yeah.
That'd be. I have a little crush on Myles Garrett. He's pretty cute.
Do you? Never heard you say that before.
He's pretty cute. He actually seems like a really cool guy. Like if you like, he seems like this chill guy. He like goes all out for Halloween. His costumes, his house. He's the one who like did like the graveyard of all the quarterbacks he sacked.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, I thought like those 2 things just happened. I think both of them yesterday, and I was like, oh wow.
So this is the thing. Like, there's always all these exciting things that are going on, and we talk about it, and we're like, oh shit, did you see that, or did you hear this, or da 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 da? And we're like, we don't have anything to talk about in the off season. It's like, yes, we do.
You know what we need to do is like start a notes page in our phone. And like when these things happen, just like jot it down really quick. So that way we don't forget. Because the problem is sometimes all these things happen and then it's too much. Is that your cell phone going off?
Yeah.
Is that on your computer or?
My computer.
That's loud.
I don't know how to turn it off.
I don't know either.
So no one else needs to text me.
Tell Nick to stop texting you.
It is him and someone else. Too many people. Okay.
Anyway. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room?
No, not yet.
The Super Bowl? No, not yet?
No, not yet. I'm not ready to go there.
Okay.
I don't want to go there.
I mean, I'm not going to be nice.
You brought up the Packers and Devontae Adams. I also just saw that Crosby's retiring.
He is retiring? I thought he was asking to go to another team.
I think he's retiring. So that happens all the time too, but those were the big ones that I saw, the big things that I saw happening so far. But last offseason was crazy, so I'm looking forward to what's going to happen and how everyone's going to be stacked up for next year.
I feel like the hard thing with the offseason is things just start to happen so fast. It's really hard for me to try to keep track of everything that's happening, which is why Nicole and I are never going to be able to report on everything happening in the NFL. It's just too much.
But
if it was my full-time job, I could probably, I mean, I would. If it was my full-time job, I could follow everything. But
yeah, we just got to get picked up and make it our full-time job. That's it. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Barstool Sports.
Next, Erin Andrews and Carissa Thompson. Here we come. Let's go.
Anybody want two females who know enough about football?
But we'll learn. You give us the time. We can know everything. So I was going to say, we focus so much on just the Chargers and the 49ers, especially during the season. During the off season, I mean, it's going to be across the board.
Yeah. And I feel like actually over the last few seasons of Touchdowns to Tight Ends, we've done a better job of highlighting big games or big things happening that week in the NFL. Yes, Nicole and I are going to spend most of our time talking about the Niners and the Chargers, but we have done a better job about like highlighting some of the big things. At least I feel like we started to do a better job. Absolutely.
And I think, fantasy helps too. You just get the knowledge there, and especially injuries, coaches, players. So before we get into the Super Bowl, was there anything you wanted to highlight from the playoffs? Ashley got punched in the face by our cat.
My eye's burning. That's the only reason why it's starting to burn.
You're allergic to cats and they scratched you.
Yeah, and I feel like she got me right here too, but not a scratch. Like I feel like right here is going to be a bruise.
You still look beautiful.
Thanks. I'm sorry. What was the question? The playoffs?
Yeah. If there was anything that you thought was notable from the playoffs, did it go the way you thought it was going to go?
Absolutely not. I was rooting for a Lions-Bills Super Bowl. I feel like a lot of people would. There were so many good storylines in the playoffs this year, like the Commanders making it there, the Lions, the Bills, right, who both have never won Super Bowls, the Chargers, who've never won a Super Bowl, never won a Super Bowl. Like there was so many good pieces and then the way it went, I was like, oh.
Part of the script, right? Maybe.
Yeah, like when the Lions lost, and I didn't watch that game. I was up in Colorado for work that week.
The Lions lost to the Commanders.
No. I was in San Diego that weekend.
Yeah, that's right, because I was texting you. Yeah, the Lions lost to the Commanders.
Yeah, I did not have that on my bingo card.
I don't think anyone did. Someone made a lot of money on that game.
As soon as the Niners were eliminated from the playoffs for the NFC, I was rooting for the Lions the entire way. Like I wanted the Lions to I knew I didn't want the Rams to make it. I was glad that they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I was an Eagles fan that day. I was an Eagles fan the day they were playing the Rams. That's how much I wanted the Rams to lose.
I wasn't anything fan except for the Chiefs.
That Chiefs-Bills game, man.
So, Super Bowl. Chiefs again.
Eagles again.
So
I mean, they played each other what, 3 years ago?
2
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna fuck this up, but like, let's go Birds. Fucking an Eagles fan for the next weekend.
Absolutely, I'm not a big fan of either, but of course I'm gonna root for the Eagles. I was rooting for them 2 years ago. We were together that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts. I think Saquon. It'd be great for Saquon. It'd be really cool for Saquon to.
That's the one thing for Saquon. Yeah, I agree. So they lost 2 years ago by a field goal. They were up by 10 points in the half, and the Chiefs came back, and the Chiefs lost won last minute by a field goal. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen this time. But you never know.
So many rumors circulating. There's those rumors that like Tom Brady discovered that the refs have been paid off to like help the Chiefs win, which, excuse me, I hope none of that ever comes true because that's going to ruin football for me.
100%. I mean, you look at all the videos on Instagram when they do, the highlights from the games, and it's like they call these penalties.
Should have been a first down. There was like one play that the Bills had. I'm like, that was a clear first down. It was actually called as a first. Sorry, I'm doing touchdown. It was called as a first down, and then the other refs said it wasn't, and then they had to discuss it, and then it was called back.
There's some really weird things that went on through the season. It's not just the Chiefs, right? It happens in a lot of games, But the Chiefs, of course, everyone's got their eyes on that and all these memes about Patrick Mahomes and the refs. And sure, it's just interesting when you look at those videos and it's like, how is that called or not called? Like barely touching Patrick Mahomes and it's a personal foul and all this bullshit. It's like, seriously?
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Automatic win. There you go, bud. Like
it's not even fun to watch them play anymore. Like,
no.
And I'm going to be clear, Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback. Like, I'm not taking away from his athleticism and how good he is. Let's put him on another team and see how he does. Like, is he like Tom Brady? Because we thought Tom Brady was just because he was the Patriots and all these things, right? We threw Tom Brady on the Bucks for 1 year and he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So David says it's fixed and the NFL isn't trying to hide it. The Texans had the Chiefs, but those timely penalties. Absolutely. And they're not trying to hide it anymore. It's very clear. It's very much out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the Super Bowl goes. I did see something was sent to me today that's pretty funny. FanDuel is accepting bets. Have you ever bet on FanDuel?
No. Can we do that in California?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can do it in California. So there are bets if see, this is the stuff that I'm going to be excited about this year.
Travis proposes. Is it that one? Which would be lame. Don't do it there, Travis. That's not special or fun.
No, I mean, he'll do it if they win, right?
Yeah, but like, just don't, because like, I feel like Taylor deserves like a much more intimate proposal. Like, she's such a big celebrity.
You guys are going for a three-peat. I mean, that's a huge fucking deal. And now there's a possibility of you proposing and taking away from your like your team's going to be pissed. Yeah. I would be. So you're now making it about you.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Super Bowl tickets, right? So remember last year I was looking at them like day of, like hoping the tickets were going to go down. Like I really wanted to like try to go, and the ticket prices just kept going up. Like I could not afford to go to Allegiant to watch the Niners play. Well, reports today have showed that ticket prices to this year's Super Bowl continue to go like this. They are dropping drastically in price.
Wow.
I'm like, nobody wants to see the game, man. And it sucks because there's such good players on these teams. And like, we love football, but it just feels so forced.
Yeah.
I made that TikTok. I was joking. It's funny because I made that TikTok right when you made the Instagram post about boycotting the Super Bowl. And part of me wants to. The other part's like, I'm going to have to talk about this in a week or two. So like, I'm going to have to watch it. And I'm there for Kendrick. And okay, hold on. I'm going to get a little political here. And I think like, if you follow my personal Instagram, you know where I stand when it comes to politics. And I'm not. The owner of the Saints, okay, is bringing Donald Trump to the Super Bowl. So Donald Trump will be at the Super Bowl while chaos is happening in the United States, right? And I was like, nobody really wants to see him. But Kendrick Lamar is performing. And we know he doesn't hide his like political beliefs. I'm going to watch the halftime show just to see if Kendrick's going to diss our president right there during halftime.
He probably.
I don't even want to say our president is going to diss the president that some people voted for that I don't support, and see. Like, I just want to watch that part.
Well, I'm excited to see Kendrick Lamar because I'm a big fan. I do like him a lot. I think it'll be a good show. I mean, we dance our tails off to Rihanna.
Well, and you know this is coming too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for the halftime show.
And maybe they'll do good commercials again. I don't know. They haven't been good in a while. So
yeah, but here's the thing. If people boycotted the Super Bowl, then all those people with the commercials start to lose money. So like just by us watching it, we're supporting everything.
So David said, I ain't watching the Super Fixed Bowl. I know a lot of people that aren't going to watch. I'm probably going to be watching Guilty by Association because I'll be at a house where it's on.
Same. But you know what I'm going to do at my house? I'm going to leave my TV on the Food Network so that when they're trying to see who's streaming the Super Bowl, mine counts as I was watching the Food Network while I was streaming.
I'm going to do HGTV. I like that.
Great. Whatever it's going to be. Streaming. So put all your TVs on and put them on anything but the Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah. Like, Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go to a Super Bowl party. I haven't decided. It's like it sucks because usually I'm just excited for the Super Bowl, no matter who's in it. Like, of course,
We've been together the last few years too, quite a few years.
yeah, you were with me last year. We just watched it, me and you, at my house.
You and I, yeah.
I got smart.
You're like, I'm not going out for this one. You did want to go out after. I was like, no.
And let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. The 49ers host the Super Bowl in 2026.
Yeah.
Levi's putting something like $200 million into the stadium this offseason.
Nice.
Upgrades to it, right?
And
I'm like, dude, if we do well in 2025 like we did in 2021 after our poor season and make it to the Super Bowl and it's a home game for us, I'm going to have to figure out how to get tickets to go to that one.
Can you imagine? Chargers, 49ers, Super Bowl.
No, I can't because I don't want to go watch our teams play each other at the Super Bowl.
We wouldn't be able to do that together. Actually,
I mean, we probably could because I feel like I get more mad when my team loses when I'm watching it on TV than when I'm at the games.
Yeah. Because it's not as intense, I feel, when you're at the games. There's so much going on when you're physically there.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, Nicole, if they make it, we're going to go for my birthday present in 2026.
To the Super Bowl?
To the Super Bowl. Although, here's the other thing. I'm like, we're putting all that money into our stadium, and the Niners already have like the second or third most expensive ticket in the NFL. And I was like, cool, you guys are going to make all these awesome upgrades, and now these ticket prices are going to get even more expensive.
Be astronomical. We need to make some phone calls for that one. By we, I mean you.
I know. I understand.
David says, "Oh, hell yeah, man. I mean, I wanted to go to the one at SoFi, but then it was the Rams. I was like, I can't do that."
Yeah. And I mean, the reality is like you and I need to experience a Super Bowl at some point.
100%.
Even if it's not our teams. Maybe one year we go to the Super Bowl, it's just two kind of random teams and the tickets are cheaper because it's random teams. And we're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to go to the Super Bowl this year because we can afford to.
The fact that the prices are dropping in New Orleans is enticing, but I'm not going to watch the Chiefs.
No.
I won't.
No. And I wonder too, like you think about like the attacks that happened in New Orleans, like in January, like there's just so much going on over there.
That's part of it. I think people are scared to go there. I mean, usually after an attack like that, it's one of the safer places to be, but still, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's all these conspiracy theories going around on TikTok about like, don't go to the Super Bowl. Like it's not going to be safe. And you know what I mean? Like there is so much security at any football game. If you guys have ever been to one, like I can only imagine that it's amplified at the Super Bowl, and not to mention that the Orange Man's going to be there, so there's going to be even more security.
Yeah. Nick says, at least you didn't host your division arch nemesis in your that sucked. That better you than me, man. That was bad. I mean, having to host the Rams, who technically is SoFi, I mean, that's their stadium. We're like their guest, and they got the first Super Bowl and they got to play there and win there. That was pretty rough. But anyway, something kind of cool. We could possibly both be playing international games this year.
Oh, shoot. I did have that written down on here. I forgot to bring that up. So where's the Chargers one? You told me it was
Brazil. Well, Brazil. That's not official, but according to reports from Brazil, the Chargers will be hosting a game in Brazil.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I will not be able to go to that game, but.
Well, I can only do one international game because it's going to be expensive. And so I believe it's the Browns. I think it's the Browns. I could be wrong. One of our opponents, don't hold me to it, I think it is the Browns. And they are hosting an international game in London. And we play them away, and it'd be their home game. So I'm like, what if we play them in London? And on my bingo card I created for 2025, I put on there, visit Europe this year.
So on Ashley's vision board type thing, she said she's going to Europe. So it could all.
And then after that, I found out the 49ers might play in London. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Like when stars align. Now, if I could just figure out who's going to fund that trip for me, it would be wonderful.
Phone a friend, I'm telling you.
I'll send you my Cash App. I'm just kidding. I don't have Cash App.
Apple Pay. Yeah.
Apple Pay, Zelle, Venmo.
Go fund me for you.
Go fund. Please send Ashley to London to watch the 49ers.
Thanks so much.
I'll report live there for you guys.
No.
Can't promise that I won't be blackout drunk, but I'll report live.
That would be super fun, and London's awesome. So
Yeah,
I wish I was able to go, but I won't be able to do any of that.
We'll see. I mean, it depends when it is. I get really busy with work at the end of November and then throughout December. So,
yeah.
And I feel like those international games, actually, if it was in October, it'd be perfect if it was in October. When do we get the schedules? Normally in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't give me a lot of planning time.
So you already have, you have already seen your opponents for next year?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, when do we play each other again? I think it's 2 years from now.
Yeah, because we went 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We went during my divorce, right? So we went in 22. Because we were supposed to go with Dennis and Kyle. I was getting a divorce, so we took Brixton and Lux.
That's right. That was 2022.
That was 22. So that was the 22 season.
So it'd be next year.
Wait, and it'll be at SoFi because, right? Because we played you guys. Awesome. We got tickets to that one.
Yeah. If I still have them. But
yeah. All right. So our goal is to go live again. I need to change my calendar in front of me because it still says January.
2 weeks.
The
so
18th?
the 18th.
The 18th, guys. We're making a promise here. We're trying to hold ourselves accountable. We're going to go live again the 18th to talk about the outcome of the Super Bowl and as we head into the offseason and draft time.
Yeah.
Where's the draft this year?
I don't know. One of these days we need to do that.
Where is the NFL draft this year?
Vegas?
Oh, it doesn't even tell me right here. Vegas. I thought it was just in Vegas.
It was Vegas last year.
No. 2025 NFL. Good thing for smartphones. Oh, it's in Green Bay. April 24th through the 26th.
One of these years we'll make it.
What am I doing those days?
I don't know.
I'm not on vacation. I'm in North LA, but I still have some vacation time I didn't schedule. I don't know if I want to waste my vacation time for the draft. I'd rather use my vacation time to go to London.
Yeah, London and games.
Yeah, that's why I saved some vacation time this year because I sometimes randomly go to Niners games on a Sunday and then I'm like, shoot, I'd like to take Monday off.
Yeah.
Although I could work up there and I have. It's
Yeah, I really want to do an away game for one of the teams and not away to Levi, like somewhere else.
Yeah.
So my plan.
Why don't you meet me in Vegas for? I know you've been to Allegiant, but
my plan 4 years ago was to go to a different stadium every year, but I could meet you in Allegiant.
I don't know. I keep hoping one day I'm out there. It's like I'll look on like the tickets tonight or whatever website, like last minute, and like sometimes tickets are like $100.
Yeah, you can find them pretty cheap now. I mean, the whole Allegiant and SoFi they were so expensive in the beginning, and now it's just kind of died off.
Yeah, but if Pete Carroll comes back and the Raiders do well, then the tickets are just going to go back up again.
Yeah, well, and they've got Tom Brady a part of that organization too. He's going to be coming. Is he going to be hosting? I know he's going to be a part of the Super Bowl this year, which would be fun.
I actually like listening to his.
I do too.
Because he talks so much like a football player. Like when he starts to talk about things, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I have enjoyed his commentating.
It's good to listen to for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we went 50 minutes.
We thought we were going to do 20.
Yeah.
Life.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. We will be posting more as a reminder. Thank you again for joining, and go Eagles.
Yep. Go Eagles.
Go Kendrick. And we'll be talking in a couple weeks, guys.
Well, enjoy your Super Bowl or boycotting your Super Bowl. Watch
Let
the
us
Puppy
know.
Bowl
Let's
instead.
do a poll. Let's see who's going to be boycotting this one.
Probably a lot of people, actually. So, all right, guys, we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
See you guys.